What is up, YouTube? Today we are back with another Guild War video, and somehow, someway, we are fighting against Talentless2 again. So we have a civil war at our hands, so obviously all hands on deck. We want to make sure we win at all costs. Now, one thing I want to say before the video starts is that my audio input for whatever reason changed because my computer crashed last night and I guess it fucked up my audio input. So you're gonna see me talking, but I'm gonna have to do a voiceover for all my attacks because I didn't realize until I was editing that my mic wasn't working. So yeah, that kind of sucks. So please like the video, please leave a comment. I'll even flex in the intro for you guys, alright? Because goddamn, I hate doing voiceovers. I hate it. But here you go. Alright guys. So go, please like, drop a comment, and yeah, let's just get along with the video. Let's go. Alright, so for our first attack of today, we'll be hitting Kaluna. And obviously Kaluna is from Parabellum, and I used to be in Parabellum with him, so always nice to see him on the other side now. He's in Talentless2, so welcome my friend if you watched the video. So we'll be hitting Amid, Kisei, Rimuru. Now I'm going to be going with Amid, Sid, and Watcher, because I did think about running something like a TRG to do the reflect damage to kill the Kisei, but the issue is if the Rimuru is on like POV, super tank, or super high damage, and it actually does enough damage to the TRG, and then for whatever reason Kisei doesn't die, things can get a bit weird. And if I run a mitigation like Yul as my third unit, it might not kill the Rimuru, and I might be put into a weird spot. So what we'll be doing instead is we're just going to go for the outspeed angle. So I'm going to be running Amid at 300 speed. Obviously, we'll be running Fan of Light and Dark, Release Imprint, and this is my new ring I just got today. All right. Sid is going to be at 260 speed on Symbol of Unity. The reason for Symbol of Unity is because the Kisei can be on a dodge artifact like Shepherd of the Hollow, Double-Edged Crescent, Moonlight Dreamblade. So we want to be able to guarantee a hit with the Sid, and we have Elemental Advantage, so obviously 85 crit is good enough. And then we have Watcher on Sasha here at 231 speed. So the idea is Amid S2, S3 pushes the Sid. Sid's going to S3 into the Kisei, right? And then I'm going to S1 into the Rimuru. Now, Rimuru does have Analyze and Assess, which cuts 30%. So even if he S2s into my Sid and takes the buffs, we don't care because we're going to kill the Kisei. And then Amid's going to be providing a 25% CR push to the team. And then it's fine because Sasha is going to provide an extra 16%, which means that's going to be an effectively 41% CR push versus Rimuru's 30% CR push. So that means Sid kills Kisei, go into Rimuru to soften him up in case it is a super tank, and that way our Watcher Shuri can easily one-tap him with S3. And it should be fine, so I don't foresee there being any issue. Kaluna does do a lot of arena. He's going for like top 30 arena borders, so he relatively is quite fast. So I'm, if his Amid outspeeds my 320, it is what it is, right? I'm going to take the loss, and it is what it is, but I highly doubt that's the thing that's going to happen, because guess what? If we do something like a Politis, we might lose as well, right? If we do Politis plus BBK and stuff, there are lose conditions, and I'd rather go for the outspeed angle if we have the speed versus just trying to tank down against this comp, right? For the bottom, it's Ran, Sanya, Enid. So we'll be running Troublemaker Crozet on Holy Sack with the CR push EE, and I will also be running Destina on Bastion of Hope with the CR push EE. And so we want to make sure we have a lot of ER here for the Destina because she's going to be wanting to resist the Sanya Provoke and the Ran Death Break. And we'll be relying a lot of our damage from Fairy Tail for a Nightmare from the Aria because it's just chip damage, so we don't really need 100 crit or crit damage necklace. So we just want to bulk up here so that we don't die at all, right? And then basically Ran's going to S2, S3, and then Senya could go for a Provoke chance, but our Destina is going to resist. And then basically we just S3 with Aria, and then we just run over the team. Honestly, this is a bit of an outdated defense, definitely from like a season or 2 seasons ago, but it should be fine, even if it is a high effectiveness Senya. I don't foresee us losing. So as long as everything's fine and Destina doesn't get provoked, because it could be Senya on like Cursed Compass or something like that, which could be a bit suspect, but I think it should be fine. Like, it's not much of concern to me. I think, yeah. Alrighty, so we look at the CR bar, take a screenshot for the team, or guild, I mean, and then, yeah, so Amid's just gonna push here, and we're just gonna run him over. So S2 here gets 25%. So let's find out he's Secret Art Storm Sword. He is not. So we're going to now S3 onto the Sid here, and yeah. So we can see that the Rimuru, even if it cuts 30%, goes to 97, but our Watcher's still going to take a turn, so Sid's going to get the buffs up here. And then the Sid's going to one-tap the Kisei. So yeah, you can see here, right? 30% cuts to 97, Watcher's at 100, we get an extra 16% from Sashay, so we're fine, right? We know for sure that we're going to outspeed, so I'm not worried about that whatsoever. S3 into the Kisei, and this is for sure going to kill. And it does. And now he analyzes. Alright. So it's not any like portrait or anything, so we know it's not a full damage Rimuru. We're going to S1, so there's the POV, right? So there's the POV, we soften them up, and then Watcher is going to S3. Right now, if this was like a 25, 28k Rimuru that was POV, our TRG idea would have completely lost, right? For sure. So I'm just going to go for an S3 onto the Rimuru, and this should be able to kill without attack buff since we've buffed him up and gave him, you know, enough damage. And yeah, good thing we went with this comp, because if we went with the other one, it would have been Jover. So we're going to S3 here into the Rimuru, and that's dead. Pop. Nice. Aim is going to push, but it doesn't really matter because at this point we're just going to 3v1 into him, and Aim is going to remove the skill nullifier, and this Sid S1 should kill. And yep, it does. Perfect. Alright, now looking at the second attack of today, we'll be looking at Ran. Sword of Cycling Seasons onto Aiden, 8.5k HP Ran. Silver Rain going to apply onto the Senya here, which I don't know if that's really the best artifact, but whatever. This pushes up the T Cosette. So we check the CR bar. Now, in this spot, right, if we push the Aria, she's still not going to take a turn. So we can check the EE here, that it's on Gab, and you can see the three little icons, the arrows, right, that I've talked about before in my previous videos. You can find out the EE there. And then, yeah, T Cosette, we're just going to push Aria. If we push Destina and then we S2 the Aria, she's still not going to take a turn. So we might as well just S3 push the Aria so that we get a defense buff up on the T Cosette. And hopefully we don't die and lose our Holy Sac right here. But even if it does, we have the insurance of Destina to heal us up, so it should be okay. And yeah, it should be fine. So we're going to go for an S3 in the Aria. Yeah, S3 in the Aria. And then Aiden moves, and then Destina can always heal us up, and then Aria can put S3 up. And I don't expect this Senya to be able to break the barrier from the T Cosette and the Destina because we're relatively tanky. If we were a bit squishier, then it would be a bit more of a concern for me here. But I think the only play here is just to S3 the Aria, because S3 and Destina is really no point here, right? We're tanky enough, and we have enough ER, and just everything's fine. So let's push the Aria here. And the Aiden is going to take the next turn because Aria doesn't make the cut. So Aiden is 8.1k HP that we need to include on the report. And it doesn't kill. Beautiful. Now, Destina, if we S2 the Aria and S3 doesn't do anything. If we S2 the T Cosette, it doesn't really do anything either. So I think the best play here, just to have more maximum value out of our Holy Sacrifice, we want to go for a S3 onto the T Cosette because that seems to be the best option. Yeah, I don't think there's really any other play. We S3, we heal up, we put our Aria S3 up to protect our T Cosette, and it should be okay here. So heals us up, 8.3k HP back, and then we're gonna S3 with Aria here, and we're gonna get infinite value now. So Senya move, she is 21.5k HP. So we don't know if she's high ER or high EFAC yet, or lifesteal or anything, but we do know that she's Gab E from the skill description in the CR bar. Ran's going to S1 into me. I'm going to counter. We actually hit Aiden, which is nice. And we're going to S2 into the damage onto the Ran. I don't know if we one-shot. Probably not, though. Yeah, he's infants. We stripped the one buff, but not the infants. So this is going to do chip damage onto the Senya. That's fine. S1 onto the Ran because we don't want to give a counter onto the Senya for free. And we know it's... do we ever push here? No. I think the answer is no. We just S1 to heal. Because Senya is always going to bait into the Aria here. So we're going to heal up a bit here. Senya is going to S1 into the Aria. And we counter. And we still are hidden on the T Cosette, so we get another counter on the Aria here. And we actually do strip. So we didn't land stun. Did we strip? Okay, we landed debuff. So we know that the Senya is not on a high ER build. So we're going to include that in the notes. We stripped the Gab as well. So we know that if we're basically base speed, or sorry, base effectiveness on the Aria, we know for a fact that this Senya is not ER, right? So we're just going to S1. Because Senya is going to always be targeting into the Aria with... oh, we actually stunned, so that doesn't really work. But we're going to S1 again. And we didn't stun, thank God. I'm just gonna S1 here to heal. And then Arya's gonna take... Oh, Arya does not take a turn. So she S3s. The Arya is going to counter here, obviously, with the buff. And then we're gonna proc S2. We stun, which is nice. Another strip there. And then we S3 onto the... Or I guess S2 onto the Senya here. And she should be dead. Alright. Oh, there it is. Holy sack. There it is. So here, no point soul burning because I can't get my S3 cycled back up. So we're just going to S1, land another stun on T-Crozet. Actually going to S3 to push here because I don't want to S1 and die for free if the reflect does enough, which I don't think it does. It should only do about like 1 to 2, 1.5-ish. But we're going to now S2 push the T-Crozet to heal up a bit so that we can do an S1. If we anti-crit, then we don't die, right? So we save the T-Crozet Holy Sack for next game, I guess. Now Arya here is going to soul burn S1 into an S3, and all is good in the world. We're at 5 focus, so the Senya is dead. Now I think this defense obviously is a little bit outdated because it's from like a couple seasons ago, but against the right comp, I mean it could still win, but in this economy, it's dead, right? This finishes it off, and perfect, nice and clean. Moving over into the second attack of today, then I guess. Alright, so for our second attack of today, we'll be hitting FTS Forever 87, and I do know that FTS watches the video, so FTS, what is good? Thanks for supporting the video. Anyway, we're having Candy, Sharoon, and MLShoot. So as of last video, we did the Knockwall comp, so we're going to go with the Knockwall comp again. Warhorn for extra damage for the rest of the team, and just speed, nothing really too special there. And then we're going to be running Zio on 100 crit, and we have him on book, and we do have him on immunity, and I'll explain why we need the immunity in just a second here, but I'm just going to show the next unit. But obviously we have Jacko on third, Knockwall on the back for a Chain of Chiron, and Merciless Glutton here with just standard DPS pen set. So we're going to soul burn S3 with the Knockwall, and then we're going to S2 onto the MLShoot, because the Shoe, her fixed damage is based on if she has the passive ability of Bzz, right? So if we seal her, she's not going to get that passive, so she doesn't do the chip damage. So we soul burn S3, S2 onto the Shoe, so it seals her. Even if she takes an S1, we're not going to get chip damage into a Landy salvo with S1, right? And then we just maybe die. So we seal it, and then Jacko's going to S3 onto the Sharoon. It for sure kills, and then we're going to S1 onto the Emerald Rat after. Zio's going to S3 to push the Candy back because we don't want Candy to ever take a turn. If Candy S3, or if she S1s and salvos us, we're going to be in kind of an awkward position. So we basically just delete the Sharoon, and we need the immunity on Zio because if the Sharoon does cut, now she has a 5% chance to cut with Chain of Chiron being available on the field. Now, if that does happen, we need to cover that base, right? So if Zio gets reset with S3, we can't push back the Candy. We're in a really bad spot. So we soul burn S3, S2, seal the Shoe, kill the Sharoon, and then Jacko's going to S1 into the MLShoot. Probably doesn't kill because it's POV. And then we use Zio S3 to push the Candy back and then finish the fight. For the second one, we have LK here, which is mandatory on immunity because there's Senya, obviously, and A-Town that has debuffs on the opening. We have Destina on Guardian Ice Crystals on a release imprint because I don't think we really need that much ER, and the extra health is going to help the Lethe out a ton because that's going to give him more HP to do more damage. And Lethe here is basically just to extinct the Yuffie, right? Because obviously it's most likely on Holy Sacrifice. This is the new ring, obviously, so we might as well use it. But yeah, 250 speed. Good enough, just delete the Yuffie and get her out of the game as soon as possible. Even if we give rage to A-Taiwan, it does not matter because we have immunity, 2-turn immunity from the LRK. Destina has enough ER to cover if he's enraged. Like the first S3 is not going to have rage, so it's fine. So yeah, it should be pretty clean for the most part, unless we don't kill with Yuffie. But if that happens, our team is stable enough to still win, I think. So let us go right ahead into the second attack. Alrighty, so we check the CR bar, take the screenshot for the guild, and we soul burn S3 here to strip everything and reset. Apply the bind so that they can't counter on Candy here, or Sharoon for that matter, in case it's counter Celestine or something like that. And we land everything, obviously. We didn't see any counter procs, so S2 onto the Candy, or sorry, MLShoot to seal her. Perfecto. Alright. And it's POV, so now we're gonna S3 with Jacko onto the Sharoon, and it's gonna die for sure because we calced it with 1800 defense, and she's just a goner. Dead. Nice. And so it is Albers on the Landy, so we want to make sure that we note that in the report. And then we S1 onto the MLShoot. We probably don't kill because it's POV, even with attack buff. Maybe it'll live with like 5k HP or something like that. A little bit less than half. Okay. So now we're gonna push the Candy, because if Shu S1s and then Candy gets a turn to S1 into Salvo, we're gonna be put into a really, really awkward position, right? So I'm just gonna go for a S3 onto the Emil Shu. If I push the Shu back, it doesn't really do much either. So the play is just to push the Candy. And we push the Candy back, hopefully. Yep, and we landed. And S1, it doesn't trigger the chip damage for the injury. I'm gonna actually S1 on Emil Shu to push back potentially. We didn't land, unlucky. We don't need a soul burn S1 because we don't need the stun chance, so we just S1 since there's already debuffs and go for the extra attack and hopefully kill, which we don't. We missed by like a few hundred. So here, since Emil Shu can't really one-shot us, I'm just gonna seal the Landy so that my next turn from Zio actually has super value, and we do seal. Perfect. Counter. Oh, also confirmed it's counter set, and the Shu goes S3. Doesn't do anything. No chip damage from the bzz, right? So I'm just gonna S1 onto the Candy to guarantee the kills, since I don't know if my Jacko cuts since she has speed buff. So we kill for sure, dead, and then we just finish her off with the knockwall. Perfect, nice and clean round 1. Now moving over into round number 2, it's gonna be Aureus on a Tywin, and Lethe's gonna take the first turn. So 88%, that might be around like 230, no, maybe like 220 speed. Just off the top of my head. And then we're not going to S3 because obviously we want to give Rage a time which can stun the Justina since it ignores ER. So I'm going to actually just do an S1 onto the AU Fiend so that we can get speed buff and then push her down with a Lethe, right? No counter, which is nice. A time was 27.6k HP. And does he stun my Justina? No, he does not. Okay, but he does stun and death break my Lethe, which is obviously troublesome. But we're going to S3 with LRK here to put our 2-turn immunity up for the rest of the team. And obviously Senya's going to move after here. And we might get countered, but that's fine. Does she counter? She does not. Nice. So we're in an okay spot. Justina is going to just S2 to cleanse the Lethe and push her down. Now AU Fiend is going to cut the CR by 50%, the CR gain. So we're not going to move to the bottom or anything. But at least the Senya S3 is not going to be able to provoke anything. It's going to recharge our LRK S3, so it'll be good. And then U Fiend's going to move. And perfect. Alright, now Lethe, we're going to Soul Burn S3. Now this could potentially cleanse the Frostbite, which it does, unfortunately. So now she counters, she's Max Fury. I am concerned, because if this doesn't kill, we're in a really awkward position. She countered again, so those 2 counters definitely saved her, right? So S1, hopefully it kills, but I don't know. Oh shit, okay, this is bad. This is bad, this is really bad. This is really, really bad. Okay. Okay, so if I... Oh, this is bad. If I LRK S3 and I'm gonna kill, she's gonna come back with Holy Sack, and then she dispels and she has trauma. If that kills LRK, I'm in a really bad spot. But I do have Justina following right after. So I think the play is... we're in a bad spot. Okay, and no matter what, we S3, right? Like, there's no reason for us to not S3. We just go for the S3, refresh our immunity, which doesn't really matter because Yuffie strips it. But we just go for the damage here. She counters, and then she's gonna come back with Holy Sack. And now I'm gonna S3 with Justina because I'm not gonna hold it for the next attack. Okay, now Lethe is going to just S1 into the Atai, because there's not much I can do, right? S1's not going to do anything for the Yuffie and its Holy Sack, so it can't trigger Elbrus. So she's going to trauma. I'm stressing. At this point, I'm stressing. I'm really stressing out. We're alive. She S1s into the Lethe. Atai takes a turn to provoke my LRK. And she S1 does a kill. Gear gap. We're alive. Okay, so now we're going to kill the Atai, so we remove the provoke, and obviously Lethe's gonna heal some HP back as well. Okay, all right. Now LRK is still alive. Oh my god. Okay, so we're gonna S3. He's gonna die with the reflect damage from the Senya, but it doesn't matter, right? Like, we can get countered by the Yuffie, but S1ing makes no sense because we can get countered on either unit. So we just go S3, refresh our immunity, and just put as much damage down as possible. And it does counter. Okay, so LRK died. Senya can't. Okay, so in this spot, if I S1 into Yuffie, she counters for free to lifesteal. I probably just S1 here on Senya. Yep. So Senya is going to counter. That's fine. Senya is always going to go into the Lethe, right? So it's all good. In this spot, I'm just going to S3 because I can land Restrict and I can land some Frostbite. But the main thing is just, you know, why not S3? You know, why not? I can get another Omen stack going onto the AU Fiend. And I should lap really hard. I'm going to S2 to push the Lethe. Since Lethe can finish out the Senya with that low HP, even if we miss. And that's good. And then afterwards, we just have to run everything in on the Yuffie. Alright. Senya's getting worked. Okay, that's dead. Now Yuffie takes another turn. Inner Abyss is going to cleanse. I'm going to S1 with Lethe since I'm going to lap since I have speed buff and I'm way faster than her. So you can see me zooming down with speed buff. I'm going to take a turn for sure. And then Lethe's just going to S1. Since there's no more mitigation, we know this is going to kill for sure. It's unfortunate that we lost LRK, but it's not like we use LRK in every attack anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that will be the Lethe. Alright. Worthy sacrifice. Worthy sacrifice to make sure we get a win. So moving over to the third attack of today then, I guess. Let's go. Alright, so for our last attack of today, it is going to be scouted, but we'll be hitting yAmaranthia, and it's going to be a Ran on RNL, fast build. Aiden's going to be injury POV, and also the candy is going to just be standard candy. So we're going to be running with Troublemaker Crozet on Holy Sacrifice, just so that if the Ran does S2, S3, RNL, we live. Zahhak's going to be in the back row to get max mitigation, and we have damage calculated this already, so we know for sure this will kill the Aiden. And we are running a crit neck, surprisingly, but it works, so whatever. And then the Inferno is going to be on Uberius Tooth because we don't need Benimaru Itachi, just simply because of the fact that we already get an attack buff from the Zahhak. And we're just going to run Uberius for maximum damage onto the Candy, and this will for sure one-shot, no question about it. And we are tanking up to Ran Arnell, so it's all good. And yeah, Ran Arnell moves, Zahhak pushes, attack buff cleanse, and then just kill Aiden through anti-crit, which is why we need 100 crit. And that's all good. For the bottom, we'll be running Amid, Kisei, C-Pavel. So Amid's going to be on a full speed build, just 296. It is what it is. And then Kisei is going to be on a full damage, 5k, 304 crit damage. Kisei on S2EE with Portrait. And we're just going to kill everything, right? C-Pavel's just going to be here to provide supplemental damage with the S2. And honestly, Dux Noctis is best in slop. I don't have it, so I'm just going to be running Portrait just because why not? And yeah, just Kisei S3, S2, C-Pavel S2, S3, and everything should basically be dead. And yeah, let's go right ahead. Alrighty, so Ran's going to move here. He's going to S2, S3. That pushes our T Crozet up. Now, because our Inferno is a bit faster, he's going to move up in front of the Zahhak, but that's fine. Because we can just use T Crozet to push the Zahhak, right? We push the Zahhak up here. And then we can S2 put attack buff for the Inferno anyway, so it's all good. Alright, so Zahhak's going to S2, attack buff Inferno, S3 onto the Aiden. Because we have 100 crit, we can for sure hit 100%. And let's go. S3 kills through POV. Yep, as we calculated. S3 is going to kill the Candy, obviously. Now, if she actually counter S1 salvos here, it would be kind of not ideal. Just because, like, Ran would then target the Inferno, right? But it doesn't really matter, because, like, we would just kill him with Zahhak anyway at some point, so it's not a big deal. So, nice and clean for the round 1. Round 2 is going to be even cleaner, even faster. Alright, we're going to push. Kisei is going to receive the S3 push here, so we get 41% CR, which is a huge amount. And then, yeah, we have Kisei here. We're going to S3. Now, if you S3 anybody else, you're going to get provoked, so you have to go Emilken here. And even if he counters, if he doesn't die, like, it's fine, right? Because you have Skill Nullifier from Amid, and it's dead. And we're just going to S2. And Bellion's dead. And C-Pavel moves up. And we are just going to S1 just to save time, so pop. And the ML Shoe is dead. Nice and clean, super quick, open up Stronghold, so let's go. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for today's Guild War video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. But yeah, it's nice clean attacks. You can never really complain about that. And yeah, the voiceovers really sucked. But it is what it is, and it's over with. So yeah, happy Friday. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one. So take care. Bye.